Okay. Yeah. Hello everybody, a warm welcome again. I don't know if you was in my last presentation from my side here in Madrid. I'm very pleased to have the opportunity to speak to you about Internet of Things and IIoT, and especially the role of sensors and LabVIEW in this digitalization process or in this digitalization transformation. So the topic of my speech is digital steps are minimal steps with sensors and LabVIEW in the Internet of Things. I will start my presentation by telling you a bit about myself and our research focus and thoughts of Internet of Things and IoT and Industrial 4.0. Then I will say something about the role of sensors and the reason why sensors are the accelerators and providers of every digitalization process, and maybe also LabVIEW, and give you an overview of some current projects and examples to confirm this thesis. And at the end I will finish my speech presenting you the approach digital steps are minimal steps to find maybe your own way in the Internet of Things and in the digitalization process. So let's begin with who I am. Most of you know me maybe from the last two presentations at the CLA Summit concerning LabVIEW safety. I was a professor at the university in Darmstadt, also a sensor expert. I founded there one institute concerning sensor applications. So we do there any research in applied sensors. We didn't develop any sensors. We find the right sensor, and then we developed solutions for challenges in industry for our partner and so on. And the other topic is LabVIEW. There I'm the director of this first worldwide LabVIEW Competence Center for High Assurance System Development. That was also the content of the speeches or the talks and the presentations in Berlin and in Vienna. And but there is not so, as I mentioned there, the safety steps are very minimal steps. So I promise you I have it still under control. And it goes further, but the steps are so small that they did not fulfill the content. There's not so many content that I could present you a 30-minute speech. But if you are interested in the small steps, don't hesitate to talk to me during these days. In addition to this, I'm also an innovation manager, moderator, and coach also in this area, Internet of Things and Industrial 4.0. Yes, I have also some industrial experience at Robert Bosch in the automotive, and Fraunhofer in the medical product development, and also at Möller. In the meantime, Möller is Eaton. It's an automation company in Bonn, and there I was also in the software development. Okay, so much about me, and now something about our research focus in Darmstadt. So we have these 5 research focus. One is sensors, I mentioned before. We on this field, research field, we develop sensor solutions to solve problems and challenges of our partners. We don't develop sensors, we will find the convenient sensors and algorithm to applicate this. And very close to this, it's also the topic indoor navigation. So based on inertial sensors, also we developed in a very low-cost new UVB-based inertial UVB-based indoor tracking system called Intranet. And additional to this, as I mentioned, some LabVIEW experience and also this LabVIEW safety stuff where we bring alliance partner together who has this need to that there are any progress in this direction of LabVIEW safety. But the content of this speech is the 5th research field. This is the Internet of Things, IoT, Industrial 4.0. And in this research field is also the focus of this speech, and also at the moment a topic for many partners and companies, and they are very interesting in, but there is a challenge, especially for smaller companies, to understand the topic and to grasp the opportunities presented by Internet of Things. So I'm in contact with many companies, maybe based on LabVIEW or on sensor projects, and then I ask them, well, how about digitalization? And then we have several parties. One company said, oh, shut up, let me alone with these stupid topics, very theoretical, it's nothing to do with us. And the other one said, yes, we have 3 employees, we locked them in the basement. They are responsible for Internet of Things, but nobody will communicate with them. They will take care about digitalization in our company. And then you have also companies, they do anything. The motivation is mostly fair. They are afraid against the competitor. Yes, the competitor did anything in digitalization, we must also do anything. And then they asked suppliers, for example, Siemens. And they said, here we have a production line, a fab, what can we do? And Siemens says, okay, yes, replace every PLC, and now you invest in Industrial 4.0 or Internet of Things PLCs, they are all connected, that is wonderful, then you are digital. And then you are in the Internet of Things, okay? And then they ask also maybe, for example, Google or SAP, they say, yes, invest in the server. Because you collect now so many data, so you can all collect this data on the server. Then you have big data, and then you are in the Internet of Things, okay? And then they invest also in the server. Then they have an amount of an invest, and now, what is now our opportunity? What is our return of invest? What is the way in the Internet of Things? What is now the possibilities we have, the challenges or the opportunities? And that's quite hard to dedicate. And that's the reason why, yes, we do some workshops also in companies, or you will find also some YouTube films to help companies to explain Internet of Things, Industrial 4.0, and the different, and also what is my point of view, what is digitalization, and how to go the first steps, so the minimal steps in the digitalization. So at the end is the motivation not fear, the motivation is then business, and that's the idea. So we start with Internet of Things, IoT, that's the after file transfer, e-commerce and social media is the interacting of devices, the next generation of Internet, the Internet of Things. And the Internet of Things is one of the most important innovative drivers for economy and society and culture. And the industrial part of Internet of Things is Industrial 4.0. So Internet of Things means everything is intelligent and connected. For example, your refrigerator is intelligent. He recognized that there is no milk in the refrigerator, and he's connected, so he can order milk by Amazon, for example. And maybe, by the way, this is then a smart product, but a smart product must also be smart. So if you don't want that the refrigerator buy anything, then he don't control you. For example, often I hear, yeah, I doesn't want that the refrigerator orders my fruits. I want to go in Mainz on the market on Saturday morning and choose my fruits by my own. I say, yes, if the refrigerator is smart, then he will not order fruits and you can go on the market. But I have 4 kids, and if we have in the morning some special Nutella not in our house, then we have stress at 5 minutes before 7, and then it's cool if we have a board, an intelligent board, which take care that we have always this Nutella in the morning. So I think that is the idea. And the focus on industrial side is Industrial 4.0. Why 4.0? The fourth industrial revolution after steam machine and assembly line from Ford and generally IT in production is now the fourth revolution. And a little bit funny is that's the first revolution they pronounced before the revolution was there. Also in the history we look back and say, yeah, okay, this time period is maybe the French Revolution or the Industrial Revolution, and now he said, attention, we will have a revolution. Yes, and that is also why nobody says, oh, is this very intelligent to pronounce it before, and so. And I say yes, because we can prepare ourselves for this revolution. So we can think about challenges and opportunities, and we can prepare ourselves. And by the way, for a professor, it's nice if they pronounce a revolution, then they always have budgets, research budgets that you can write proposals for. Okay, so we have this Internet of Things and Industrial 4.0, and I want to show you my point of view of Internet of Things. Yes, in my opinion, we have 4 columns. smart products, smart factory, big data, and smart business models. Yes, smart product, as I mentioned before, this is the refrigerator, which automatically order the milk, or the motor, which recognizes that the eggs will be crashed in 4 weeks, and then order a new eggs, and then you have no timeout from your production, for example. That's our smart products. The other point is smart factory. Smart factory is the intelligent factory, and the motivation is that you want to produce a batch size of 1. So you want to produce the individual product, therefore you need also sensors that you know where is the product. Before you color the car green, you could decide, no, it is a red car, so you could build up the individual product, batch size of 1. You hear also some experts, they will estimate that in the future, for example in Germany, at the moment in Germany we have a market with 80 million people. And maybe in the future we have 18 million markets. So that is the challenge in the future, to build up, to produce the individual product and also the batch size of 1. And therefore you need also sensors to realize the smart factory. Yes, and the third column is big data. So as I mentioned before, if everything is connected, you will collect data also from sensors. Yes, and then you have an amount of information, and the challenge is to find the right information to build up the intelligent business model, or to offer this data, or to find some potentials in your fab, that you use these big data for your business, for your proficiency, whatever. And the next column is, in my opinion, the most important. That's the smart business model. This is really the critical component of every digital strategy. In order to also be successful in the future, precisely, these intelligent business models are opportunities and challenges of Internet of Things Industry 4.0. And it's quite hard for us as an engineer. Now, an engineer must also think about business models and customer needs you don't satisfy at the moment, and to find technologies or sensors and products and developments to fulfill these these customer needs, or to develop also new intelligent business models. I'm sure you heard about Uber. Uber does not own any taxi, but they earn money from transporting people. How so? Uber has an intelligent business model. While the taxi business were painting their taxis, smart product, and decorating their offices, smart factory, Uber comes of the middle of nowhere and took them by surprise with a very intelligent business model without any car. And I think this could also happen in the complete industry. For example, who estimate that Siemens will earn money in the future with automation, so with PLCs? There are some companies, they ask, I doesn't want to have an engineer bureau and they build up my plant. I want to buy the process, for example, water in the bottle. If I could buy this process in my fab, only the process, water in the bottle, or anything else, or medical in a bottle, whatever, then it's quite comfortable for me. And then it's a question, who offer this process? Is it Siemens? Yeah? Who offer transportation? Is it Daimler and BMW, or is there also something like an Uber? So be careful and sensible for the Ubers in your market. Completely clear, Uber is not very cool in many countries. There are many poor people because they buy a taxi and so on. It is nothing, what I say, Uber is wonderful, but the challenge is that also in your market, maybe there is an Uber in the future. And this is an opportunity and a challenge for the future. And I want to give you some examples in sensor projects. So I want to confirm now this idea bring you to these ideas that sensors and LabVIEW could be the accelerator and provider to the Internet of Things. And here are some examples of some sensor projects of our institute. Here you see a personal tracking sensor system to track older people, and now we recognize where they are if they fall down in an unknown environment where you could install maybe sensors or a navigation system, and then we recognize that they fall down, that there is no movement, where they are, maybe in which floor, in which room, and is there any breathing. If you had the sensor on here on the front, then you can also measure the breathing, and then you could call for help. It's an intelligent product. And this is quite similar. This is a project, the study we had in Berlin. We track Alzheimer patients. Alzheimer patients is state of the art, that they will be tracked by GPS. But there's a challenge if they go in a museum or in the train station and there is no GPS connection. And then it's a challenge to find an Alzheimer patient in the main train station in Berlin, for example. And then we can also overtake with this inertial sensor tracking system. And here you see another motion tracking system. We built up these state-of-the-art product. Here you see Renato Augusto from Bayer Leverkusen. This is a sport training system, and we built up a smart clothes. This was the start here to measure movements and to compare a good movement with a reference movement, or latest movement with a reference movement. So you can control training processes and also rehabilitation exercises, for example. Also this is inertial tracking. And here is maybe a good example also for a smart product. Here was a company, they lent their products, or the clinics could rent the device, and like a rental car, like a drive as a rental car, so they use also this device. They let it fall down, bumbling at the bed, and so on. And always this the company, our partner, has some problems with these robustness of these products, and they ask always the hospitals or the clinics, let you fall it down? No. Really? No. Did you bumble it on bed? No. And then we put in something like a crash recorder. So in this device there was also free space on the PCB, and also we call it a possibility to mount a sensor, and now they mount a sensor in, and the product is more intelligent. Now the product recognizes that it's falling down from 1 meter, from half a meter, 25 centimeters, it's bubbling into that, and they have something like a crash recorder. So they have now a business model with one sensor and one product. And here you see generally navigation systems. Yes, there's also a challenge in the productive or in the warehouse, that you know where is anything, or also in any test application, where's my test record, or where's the ladder in the airport, that they use the right ladder for the plane, or the right parts in the big fab and so on. So to dedicate potential you have in your company to be more efficient, and then also you could use sensors for this. Yes, so in every of this column, in my opinion, sensors could be the accelerator and provider on the way to the Internet of Things. And there is now also the possibility to divide this long way to the digitalization in small steps, in small projects. And then is the motivation not fair, then is the motivation business and opportunity, and you can write a first success story, and then you can go in the next process. So sensors as the provider in this Internet of Things, and digital steps are, in my opinion, minimal steps. You can't roll out digitalization from 0 to 100% in your company. And I think the phrase comes from my experience in the medical area. Also in the medical development, we always say clinical steps are minimal steps. Also there you couldn't roll out a technology in the medical environment from 0 to 100. And that's the idea. And now, there's also now the approach for you. If you are a company and think about Internet of Things, sit together with your colleagues, and this is the idea. And you didn't know, you mustn't have an external moderator. It's only I want to present you this approach. You sit together, and then you explain everybody what is your common situation, and what is your point of view of digitalization, and what are the columns. And then you can sit together and dedicate potentials you have in your company. Where could you be a little bit more efficient, and what did you need for this, and where you have not satisfied customer needs. And mostly behind this is maybe a data in your fab, or a sensor in your product, or anything maybe you have. And then you can develop a next step list on the way to the Internet of Things. And then you can prioritize this list. Important for this workshop or this process in your company is that you dedicate the right participants. Don't sit together with 5 LabVIEW developers. You need also the man from the shop floor, one of the management, one of the marketing, one of the development department, of the production line, and so on. Sit together and brainstorm what are potentials we have, where we are inefficient, where we have challenge in our production, in our processes, and so on. This could also be a form or whatever you replace, or you make digital, or whatever, or a connection, or to describe a process. Or you find any smart thing you could adapt on your product, that your product is more smart, more intelligent, and then you have a business model. And if you dedicate 10 or 15 from these small projects, then you have a chance to go step by step in the Internet of Things. And if you go the first step, yes, find one room of improvement or accomplishment sensor customer need, then you realize this. And these are projects, not what you will do in 2020, 2025. It is something what you can realize at the end of 2018 if you start now, or maybe in the middle of 2019. And then you make the rollout, and you collect the return of invest, you write a success story, and then you go in the next step. And so you go step by step in the Internet of Things in the digitalization process. And then you can also go to the fairs, Hanover Fair, whatever, and you can write a prospect or whatever and say, yes, we are on the way to the Internet of Things, and this is our first step, our second step, our third step. Last year I was at the Hanover Fair, and every company has a sign, we are digital, we have anything for the Internet of Things. And if you ask them, and what is your return of invest, what is your business case, and then yes, we will see we have some pilot product, yes, a pilot customer and a project, but the real business we don't dedicate. And also the other companies who offer digital Internet of Things applications, for them, it's also a challenge to present their customer the advantage to use these applications or these products. And that's an idea to go in this Internet of Things. And in my opinion, also, if you think in sensors, also in the workshop, so at the end you put your smartphone on your product and say, if our product can the same things like a smartphone, what for business needs we could fulfill, we don't satisfy at the moment. And then you think only in one sensor and replace this sensor in your product, for example. And you have one big advantage, in my opinion, because you have LabVIEW skills, you are LabVIEW experts. And in my opinion, next to the sensors is also something like LabVIEW in this Internet of Things, with this big advantage of the time to market, from the idea, from the design to the prototyping to the development. You have also a tool. So maybe you recognize that there is a methodology to find, to build up awareness also in your company, to find out maybe 10, 15 next steps in the Internet of Things and your privacy is, and then you can go these further steps with sensor applications maybe, and also with LabVIEW. And that's so the content of my speech, and what I want to tell you is the sensors and LabVIEW could divide this long way and to the Internet of Things in feasible steps, or steps you can move step by step. And then the motivation is the success story and business, and not fear against the competitors. And also the company responsible person who tell me at the beginning, shut up with this digitalization, they always say, oh, it's business, and then it's nevertheless how we call this baby. Maybe call it digitalization. The main motivation is the new business. Yes, if you want to have more information, we have also some YouTube videos concerning this whole topic. Maybe this is also the idea. If you sit in a room and you, if you like this, but there are 9 German videos and 3 English videos to explain this, what the content of the speech is. You can use these videos. Build up an awareness in your department, in your company. Then you have the idea of this workshop idea, collect the right people in the workshop, find out your potentials and your not satisfied customer needs, and then go in the Internet of Things. Grasp the opportunities of Internet of Things. So that's what I want to present today, and now I'm open for questions and maybe also a discussion. What is your experience with digitalization? Is this something you have in the focus, or you lock these 3 colleagues in the basement who are responsible for it? Okay, thank you very much, and now I'm open for questions. Yeah.
This all sounds a little bit like sensors and Internet of Things. We have great solutions, and now we are really looking for the problems.
It's like announcing the revolution.
Yeah, that's it. It sounds very much like, yeah, we want to make a revolution. It's there, and okay, so who's coming?
Yes, I think this attention as a revolution, that is that you are prepared maybe for the upcoming movers in your market, for example. That you see there is some development in the future, and you have to prepare yourself, and you could also be a Uber in the market. Yes, that you take the opportunities, grasp the opportunities you have now with these things of digitalization, connecting devices, intelligent products, and so on. We are not looking for challenges you not have. But maybe you have now possibilities to think about your challenges and your problems you have in your company, and you could solve it with these new possibilities.
I think that's something. Is it really worth mentioning? We are in any technology business, so there's always new technologies, and any successful company has always to be on the lookout for new things and what they can incorporate into their products or what they don't do. And okay, digitalization is one of those aspects they really have to look into. Of course they have.
But you recognize also very successful, innovative companies. They don't have their customer needs in the focus, and they were not existing on the market.
Yeah, if you don't have your customer needs in the focus, you'll cease to exist sooner or later.
Yeah.
Probably sooner. But it's something. What does this have to do with digitalization?
I think at the moment every company wants to be in the Internet of Things and digitalization, and do things like, ask your marketing department. If you go on a fair, you must have any answer for digitalization, Internet of Things, and so on. Maybe then it's not the focus of your company and your marketing, but if you go over the Hannover Fair, all of these companies have anything for digitalization. And I think only a small percent of these companies has any business with these new solutions. They do things only because they are
satisfy the buzzwords that are currently in marketing.
Yeah, maybe. But you have the point of view is that you have now also some opportunities. You can solve if the products are more intelligent, if you collect data, and if you think about if the possibilities you have also to find in the big data the right data to offer a business model, for example.
Yeah. So, like, how much are you worried about like data protection and like privacy and stuff? Because like tracking people and stuff is like a great example of technology and stuff. But at the same time, it's like really quite scary. And like, if anyone wants to watch Black Mirror, then you get like, I'm not sure I want that technology in a way. Like, so how much is like governments and things like that? How much do you be fighting governments and they want to do this stuff?
I think there's on every technology a responsibility on this point of view. But here we find for example, with these elder people or Alzheimer patients, we find a solution for a need they have. Yes, that they can access in their own flat. Of course, there's a challenge, and that there's and that you can also use every position of every possible person, and there we must find also solutions. Yes, that doesn't
But how much are governments like behind this, and how much are governments in which position?
At the moment, the government nothing say. But in my research focus, companies come to me, especially smaller companies, and they have maybe a need or a challenge, and or they want to have a new intelligent product, and then they want to have a sensor solution from my side, without any responsibility for what they do with these sensor systems at the end. Okay? Then, no questions. Thank you very much for your attention, and enjoy the
Spaans. Zeg maar, als je daar een camera aan had, dan herkent hij dat jij